Hey everyone, my name is Jim Bob. How the hell are ya? So, I want to do something a little different with my content today. Usually I will do ranking videos of, say, movies in a franchise or movies based on one actor, but today I thought, why not rank the characters within a TV show or a movie? I thought it'd be a nice change of pace and something new to do. Plus, I've been looking for an excuse to talk about the Umbrella Academy for quite a while, but I didn't know quite how to review the show as a whole, since there are so many different things going on in it, and the plot overall is a bit confusing to me. So I thought maybe make a character ranking video. So we'll see how this turns out. Let's go. Top 10 characters from the Umbrella Academy. The Umbrella Academy has taken Netflix by storm. To me, this is how you do the X-Men storyline right. Have a dysfunctional family, mess them about, make them flawed individuals that have redemption in them, make them likeable, make you care for them, and the Umbrella Academy does that really well with its characters. And so, I'm going to start off right now by giving you my top 10. Coming in at number 10 is Ben. Hey, that rhymes.
But it's a shitty world full of shitty people sometimes. You aren't a monster. You're my sister.
So Ben is the only member of the Umbrella Academy that is essentially only there in spirit because he's literally a ghost. The only character that can see him is Klaus up until towards the end of season 2 where he connects with Vanya through possession. I love that scene. So Ben is the odd one out because he essentially doesn't have to deal with the family drama that went on between the Hargreaves family because he hasn't been there to be around it or be involved in it. I mean, yeah, he saw everything through talking to Klaus, but he was never actually involved in it, so he's never had to deal with it. But he's a very charismatic person who does care for his siblings. I mean, he consistently talks Klaus out of making dumbass decisions. He's strong-willed, has a heart of gold, and he was the only character able to reach Vanya when she was in that fit of rage with her new powers and not being able to control them. Ben was the one that was able to reach her. And the brother dynamic between Klaus and Ben is absolutely on point and hilarious, and it's both charming and, you know, fun. So Ben comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is Reginald Hargreaves.
Our world is changing. Has changed. There are some among us gifted with abilities far beyond the ordinary.
Now, Reginald Hargreaves is the adopted father of all the siblings in the Umbrella Academy. And I think what interests me most about this guy is that he's just a complete mystery. Like, you have no idea if he's a good or bad guy, and I'll explain in just a second. Like, it's hard to tell sometimes whether he's a good or bad person because, well, he proved at the end of season 2 that he's not all that bad because it was never his plan to assassinate President Kennedy in the first place, and he was telling these other weirdos off for doing it. Up until that point, the show just portrays him as this arsehole, so you can't really tell whether he's good or bad. He's an arsehole to everybody. He's just an arsehole to his adoptive sons and daughters. He's an arsehole to Pogo. He's an arsehole to Grace. He's just an arsehole in general. But to me, unpredictable characters can be pretty interesting when they're done right. So Reginald the Mystery Man comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is Loyala.
That's your plan?
You got a problem with it?
Why don't we just kill him?
What?
I mean, you think he's going to shoot the president, right?
Right.
Fine, so we kill him, put a bullet between his eyes, problem solved.
So Loyala's this newcomer in season 2, and right off the bat, I instantly clicked with this person because she's both quirky, attitude-driven, and her love/hate relationship with Diego just sold me almost immediately. They're bouncing dialogue off each other, throwing this banter, these insults, these charming quotes at each other. It's just really funny and, you know, charming. But Loyala's headstrong. She wants to do the best by her adoptive mother, the handler, but she suspects something is wrong the entire time. Her dedication and love for Diego is what makes her a potential candidate for the Umbrella Academy, and her powers, I mean, she can deflect whatever is thrown at her, counter any attack, and that includes Vanya's powers. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of her in season 3. I want to know what the show is going to do with her now, because last we saw of her, she disappeared after finding out the handler was not her real mother, and that it was Five who killed her parents, by order of the handler obviously. Plus, I can't get enough of that British accent. It's really cute. Loyala comes in at number 8. I heard a rumour that you put Alison at number 7.
I mean, from the time I was little, I used it to get everything I wanted. With Dad, with my career. But now I know nothing in my life was real.
Alison is probably one of the biggest hearts out of the entire Umbrella Academy. She's pretty much the heart of the team, and it shows straight away when season 1 opens what kind of person she is, that she's the only character that isn't really all that mad at Vanya for writing the book about the siblings and exposing them to the world. Alison is the sort of character that always stands up for what she believes in, for right or for wrong. Even while she was stuck in the 60s, she joined this anti-racist movement sort of thing, even though she knew that the impact wouldn't be all that great in the future because there's still racism going on today, which is a really unfortunate thing, but she stuck to her guns and just fought through it. Met someone, fell in love on the way. Her powers include rumouring people, where she'll say, I heard a rumour, and then she can basically hypnotise that person to do literally anything she wants, including getting one big ass Swedish guy to kill his own brother. So she deserves a spot on this list. Alison at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Diego.
You want to blame me, blame us for leaving. It's okay. But maybe you're asking yourself the wrong question. Maybe it's not about why we left. Maybe it's about why you stayed.
Now, Diego, I actually liked more in Season 2 than I did in Season 1. He's definitely what you would call the ultimate stubborn member. He's hard to reason with, which could sometimes lead him to make, bad choices and bad decisions, but his heart's always in the right place. He's the sort of guy that once he has his sights set on something, he doesn't stop until he achieves that goal or that particular thing which he wants to do. Some prime examples like avenging the death of his lover, Detective Patch, in the first season, or trying to stop the assassination of President Kennedy in the second season. And although sometimes he may fail, he's headstrong and will pick himself back up again no matter what. His powers include being able to control inanimate objects such as throwing knives or even deflecting bullets. So yeah, Diego's a badass. And I think what most interests me about Diego's character is that he's the one that probably despises his father the most. I mean, even when Luther was looking into the death of his father because he doesn't see it as a complete hoax, Diego was like, oh no, it's just suicide, leave it. So it's quite clear that Diego doesn't give a shit about his father and he's actually glad that he's dead. And he's clearly the character that has problems with his brother and sisters, like he's really hard to get on with, but will always defend them in the end. I'm going to put him at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is Luther.
Dad sent me on a mission. And it went, badly. I almost died. He saved my life.
So, Luther is the brute strength of the group, and despite being this big guy with all these muscles, all these powers, all this huge strength, he's actually the most emotional one out of all the males anyway, because I think I see this guy tear up more than any other character. So Luther at first is the one sibling that doubts the how and the why of Reginald's death. He's the one that wants to look into it because he doesn't see it as a suicide when everyone else is brushing it off. In my personal opinion, I think that Luther is probably the second funniest member, second to Klaus. Because I think my favourite scene of the entire thing is when Five and his older self are both fighting, and there's this camera shot and it pans around, so showing the two Fives fighting. And then there's just Luther just standing there, holding his balls, gripping for dear life because it hurts so bad down there. I mean, believe me, I felt that pain too. But overall, Luther is a flawed individual, but will always do the right thing in the end. He tries to help out his siblings best he can, even if it means trying to stop one to save the other. Luther is a driving force in the Umbrella Academy. He's loyal, powerful, and emotional, so he comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Vanya.
I have been left out of everything for as long as I can remember. And I used to think it was Dad's fault, but he's dead.
Now, Vanya is the most conflicted out of all the siblings. She's always feeling like an outcast because she's the only one without powers, or so we thought at one point. Vanya has a good heart, but she lost who she was at the end of Season 1. I mean, she's pissed off at everybody around her, which causes her powers to do bad things, but underneath all that rage, underneath all that power, Vanya has a kind heart and will always be there for the people she cares about. Now, one of my personal most favourite scenes out of the entire of the Umbrella Academy is the moment where Vanya has a moment with Ben's ghost, because Ben's ghost basically possessed her and they have a little one-to-one. And now Ben assures Vanya that she doesn't have to be an outcast anymore. And so this moment was incredibly touching. An excellent and powerful performance by Ellen Page. Vanya is an extremely likeable and exciting character, and I can't wait to see where Season 3 will take the character. Vanya's powers include telekinesis and manipulation of sound waves, which makes her pretty much unstoppable as of yet. The only character who's managed to, rival her powers at this point is Loyala, being able to counter attacks like I mentioned before. So yeah, Vanya comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Hazel.
7% reduction in payment due to job delay, further reduction every 24 hours until job completion. That is just, it's only been one lousy day.
Now, not many people will agree with this, but I really enjoyed Hazel's character. I've always been a sucker for the kind of villain that has a redemption arc kind of story to them, a villain who turns to the good side. It's the reason I love certain characters in TV shows and movies like Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Prince Zuko, Damon Salvatore, stuff like that, the redeemable villain. Hazel starts off working for the commission alongside his partner at the time, Cha-Cha, and after falling in love with the local maid from the donut store, he starts to question his place in everything and decides to leave the commission behind forever and help the Umbrella Academy stop the apocalypse. And I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't a whole lot of Hazel in season 2, but seeing as how the siblings have messed around with the timeline and the apocalypse never happened, maybe we'll be seeing him again soon. Hazel is strong-willed and dedicated to what he does, but he's also not blind to the way the commission do things. He cares for people despite being a multi-time travelled assassin. He even spared Cha-Cha's life at one point after she tried to kill him. Hazel doesn't have any powers in particular, but he's a super skilled trained assassin with a ton of ambition. Hazel is a really fun character who's also pretty funny, so he comes at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Klaus.
Here's what's gonna happen, Grant. It's Lance. In about 60 seconds, 2 security guards are gonna burst through that door and they're gonna see a whole lot of blood and they're gonna wonder what the hell happened, and we're gonna tell them that you beat the shit out of us.
Now what can I say about Klaus other than the fact that the guy is really fucking funny? I don't think I've ever laughed at a character so much in a show for a long time. He's like the Sokka of Avatar The Last Airbender, the Nathan of Misfits, and that's down to the fact that this guy is pretty much always high on drugs. As the first time we see him, he's just coming out of rehab to attend his father's funeral, and not long after he goes and gets high again. And some of the things he does, some of the things he says are hilarious, like walking around in women's clothes or walking around in barely anything. Klaus may come across as a goofball or a screw-up of the siblings, and, you know, he's the member who can't be taken seriously because even when he does fight the drug addiction halfway through season 1 and sobers up, people still don't take him seriously, and this causes some inner conflict within himself. But by far the highlight of this character is the brother dynamic between him and Ben, being as Klaus is the only character who can see Ben since Klaus's powers include contacting the dead and talking to them. Klaus and Ben are amazing when they're together. The jokes, the dialogue, the banter, it's all written incredibly well. Though not being the most powerful of the siblings, Klaus has a heart of gold and cares for his brothers and sisters, as Klaus was the only character, other than Alison in the first season, to be against holding Vanya in the vault. And even in the most intensive situations, Klaus cracks the best kind of one-liners that I've heard for a long time. Even when he's about to attempt to save the world, he cracks one-liners like this.
You look like Antonio Banderas with the long hair. I just thought you should know. Thanks, man.
Klaus is a great character, and he's one of the reasons the show keeps you smiling throughout the entire thing, so he comes up at number 2. But coming in at number 1 is 5.
Excuse me? Excuse me? It's my son Kenny's birthday today, and, wouldn't your son be happier playing with kids his own age? Assuming it's okay with your 2 dads.
I would rather chew off my own foot.
Though he wasn't always my favourite when the season began, 5 just continued to grow on me every time I saw him on screen. He's a perfect example of a grumpy adult trapped inside the body of a 13-year-old, but I honestly wouldn't have him any other way. He serves as a kind of, leader of the group, like people turn to him for the advice on what to do next. Even though Luther is technically number 1 of the siblings, as Reginald Hargreaves only gave all of the siblings a number for a name back when they were babies, 5, with all of his years being stuck in the apocalypse timeline, working as an assassin under the Handler and the Commission, going through so much in 45 years of being trapped, ends up becoming the one character the Umbrella Academy can rely on. The siblings rely on him to get them out of sticky situations or to understand what's going on with the timeline or what to do about the apocalypse. Because he's the one who's the most experienced and technically the oldest, even though he's trapped inside this young body of a 13-year-old, and it's pretty funny as we have this little kid acting like a 58-year-old man. He's grumpy, he's sarcastic, he's arrogant, he's so done with everybody's shit. He's the exact definition of an old dude who will just yell at you even if you're on his lawn and he can't function without his morning coffee. And this kid nails this character brilliantly. 5's powers include time hopping, space-time manipulation, and the ability to use time to move objects without physical contact. He's a force to be reckoned with, and I remember being so worried in the episode where we were introduced to the older 5. I thought that this older 5 was about to replace this kid, and thank God it didn't happen. Plus 5 is not always flawless, he does make mistakes such as scattering his siblings across the 60s, so even with all this power under his belt, he's still learning the best kind of way to control it. Still, the only character without a real name at the moment is 5, so he comes in at number 1. So there you have it guys, my top 10 characters of the Umbrella Academy. Now I want to do more videos like this because I'm getting slightly bored of just the standard reviews. I want to be a little more creative with my content, so let me know what you thought of this and if you want more things similar to it. As always, I appreciate you all watching. If you like what I do here, consider clicking that subscribe button, I really appreciate it. Remember, it's not just a movie, it's an experience. Take care everyone, and have a good day.